It is a good day today, looking at what might be my favorite deck that I've ever played on the channel here, and that is Black Green Seasons Past with Umori the Collector. So, if you're not familiar, Seasons Past is 6 mana green sorcery to return any number of cards with different mana values from your graveyard to your hand. Then you put Seasons Past in the bottom of Zo's library. And the idea here is that you use Seasons Past with a tutor effect. You kind of bring all the cards back, it goes on the bottom, and then one of the cards you bring back to tutor, you tutor for Seasons Past, get it back, rinse and repeat, yada yada yada. Infinite value. Actual infinite value, assuming you're not dead. Which is often the problem. So a lot of the decks built around kind of like getting you there. Here, we're using Seasons Past with Maximize Acquisition, which not only searches your library for cards, but also searches from... I'm going to specify outside of the game, which means your sideboard, but also if something gets exiled, you can grab it that way. And we also have a single copy of Dig Up here, which you can cleave, search your library for a card, put it into your hand and shuffle. And we're using Umori, which means every card in the deck is a sorcery, apart from the lands, obviously. And Umori says, 4 mana for 5, which is a companion, so you can just grab it when you need it. As Umori collects into the battlefield, choose a card type, and the spells you cast the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. So here we're naming sorcery. It makes the loops a lot cheaper, mana-wise later on, and is really sweet. The cool thing here is we're not playing any other creatures in the main deck. We'll get on to Invoke the Ancients later. If you play your Umori and your opponent kills it, then you can Seasons Pass it back. If they exile it, you can acquisition it back. And so, hey, it's never really gone. The rest of the deck's just the best black and green sorceries we can build around here. And there's a couple of other different engines within engines going on. So, we have Seasons Pass, we have our tutors with acquisition and dig up. We'll get to the sideboard as well, because we also have some learn spells in here. Let's start at 1. You've got Bloodchief's Thirst, our best 1 mana sorcery removal spell. Destroy a creature or planeswalker mana value 2. If it's kicked, just destroy target creature or planeswalker. It is a very nice clean answer early and later on in the game. We've got Thoughtseize, obviously best hand description in the format. It's very, very crucial, especially against winning some of the more controlling matchups, where you just need to rinse your opponent of cards. More on that a bit later. We've got some specific tools to make sure that happens. Things start getting quite interesting at 2. So we have Collective Brutality. 1 and a black, obviously the escalate ability. So if you have like one of the problems that these kind of decks can have is that you draw the wrong half. So if you draw like all your Bloodchief's Thirst versus Control, or all your like Hand Disruption or Thoughtseizes versus aggro later on in the game, you can pitch them to Collective Brutality for extra modes, and you just need to choose them. So target opponent reveals their hand, you may choose an instant sorcery card from it, and that player discards it. So kind of supplementing our Thoughtseizes with some Hand Disruption. Target creature gets -2/-2 standard turn. Spellfinder creatures, great versus aggro, and then target opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. Not only is this a way to kind of drain your opponent in a aggro matchup to get some life back, but also later on, once you're kind of going off, this is a way you can use to close the game out and end it. We then have Witherbloom Command. Target player mills 3 cards and return a land card from your graveyard to your hand. One of the things this deck wants to do is hit a land drop every single turn of the game, until you're like super, super late, and even then, like, until you basically run out of lands to play. Then the second mode here, destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Cool, nice. Target creature gets -3/-1 turn to turn. Is a nice extra removal spell versus things like Llanowar War Elves. Unfortunately, doesn't actually kill much versus at least the red aggro decks. The white aggro decks it still does a little bit of work. And again, it has a drain ability to kind of keep you living, which is super, super important. So you want to live to get to our engine. We then have Field Trip. The 2 agrees to library basic forest, put into play, tapped, and then shuffle, but also has learn on it. And we've got a few different lessons to choose from in the sideboard. You have 1 copy of Dryad's Revival. It is a bit of durdling with your durdling, but 3 mana, returns a card from your graveyard to your hand, and then flashes back for 5. We also have a Bargain Recovery, which also obviously can double as another land drop. And then we have some extra removal here. 2 copies of Soul Transfer. Just a clean exile for creatures and planeswalkers. We're not enabling the other ability because we don't have any artifacts or gems in our deck. That's okay. And then we also have a Go Blank here. Target player discards 2 cards, then exile player's graveyard. Some more of these in the sideboard as well. And again, versus those control decks and some of the mid-range decks, you can really run your opponent out of cards. Later on in the game as well, if your opponent's trying to hold up counter spells and that kind of thing, you can go get back or tutor for it to just kind of wipe their hand out. At 4, we have a couple of different wraths. So Extinction Event is a really nice one. Odd or even, exile each creature with mana value of the chosen quality. Exiling is actually super, super important, especially versus something like green, where a bunch of their creatures... Actually, a lot of creatures that see play in the format in general have dies abilities that are pretty annoying. And then we also have your Henny's Expertise, which I'm kind of trying out here. 2 black, black, all creatures get -3/-3. It's a bit underplayed. You may cast a spell with mana value 3 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. The nice thing here is that on turn 4 you can get a bit of a double spell in, extra your Henny's expertise, and then get off one of your 3 mana spells, or just, you know, cash in one of these to like drain some life out. Trying it here is a one of, hey. So, one of the things, we're obviously all sorceries, how we kill our opponent. I talked a little bit about how you can just drain them out with brutality. Obviously, eventually you might be able to kill them with Umori. Invoke the Ancients as a way to put some pressure on, especially versus more controlling decks. 5 mana, 1 green, 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 green. We have these field trips and we have a fairly green mana base to facilitate that. We create 2 4/5 green spirit creature tokens. For each of them, put your choice of vigilance, reach, or trample counters. Reach here is super important versus things like spirits. If you can get this to resolve, if you kind of like play a hand disruption spell to take away the counter spell and then resolve this with reach, they're just not getting through. And then you can also, again, recur these with your Seasons Past, just kind of like make piles and piles of 4/5s. And then 2 copies of Seasons Past, we got loading up on them. Again, Mastermind's Inquisition can get them back if they somehow get exiled. And also, it's 6 mana. Like, we're pretty clunky at the top end already, but we have a bunch of tutors to grab it when we need it. The mana base is also pretty interesting. Obviously, with Field Trip, we need a bunch of basic forests. We've got 5 here. Along with that, we're playing a Field of Ruin. Deal with troublesome manlands that kind of can be difficult to deal with, since we're all sorcery speed, which is actually super important to have this, because otherwise you just can't really kill manlands. Apart from Beseiju. And with Beseiju, the nice thing with Seasons Pass is that you get to get back a 0. Field of Ruin, Beseiju are both excellent with that, and we've also got a Hive Dive Tyrant as a manland, which if it dies you can get back as well. But being able to recycle your Beseiju, and actually, especially if there's things like some of the Fires decks, you can actually like Beseiju your opponent just out of the game. You're playing 3 copies to have like a lot of answers for artifacts and enchantments. Hey, eventually they're going to run out of basics to find. Which is also pretty sweet. And it's not just a pipe dream either. It's like a very real, and also some of the aggro decks, like decks trying to be pretty greedy in the format, just don't play many basics at all. And so Beseiju out is actually pretty reasonable. Then just 30 standard black-green lands, 4 Blooming Marsh, 4 Darkwood Pathway, 2 copies of Deathclap Glade, 4 Overgrown Tubes. Again, we've got a few different things to grab things for the sideboard. Let's go through that. Real quick though, if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Try and find the sweetest decks to bring to the table. So we have our Umori, super important. Then we have some spice. We have our lessons here. So 1 environmental sciences, mascot exhibition, which gives you another way to kind of like put pressure onto the board, start killing your opponent. You then also have a containment breach, answers for artifacts and enchantments. Nice, and there's also a copy of Confront the Past here to deal with planeswalkers. Okay. I promised some spice. Firstly, we have an Elder Spell. This is particularly good versus Mono Green, because obviously you can play a bunch of Planeswalkers. I wanted to try it as I want to just like, I'm going to blow all your Planeswalkers up for 2 mana. It's a nice one because it's super cheap. So being able to just go like, okay, I've got 6 mana, Acquisition, Elder Spell, all your Planeswalkers are dead, is super nice. Very clean. We've got some more Wraths here, depending on the matchup. So Extinction Event, Shadow's Verdict. Some of these, the interesting thing is you can board them in because, hey, post-game 1, Acquisition doesn't have to get them from the sideboard, it can also get them from the library. And you can just board more Wraths in. Extinction Event, again, odd or even. Shadow's Verdict is a nice one because it exiles cards from graveyards as well. We have Duress and 2 copies of Go Blank, more of our hand disruption package. We have, pretty handy, a Lost Legacy. Deal with things. I put an approach deck together the other day, but there are other decks where you just want to take their one like threat out. If your opponent's playing some weird combo, creativity, obviously, just get rid of all the copies of the card that you're worried about, and you can again tutor for this, which is incredible. It makes all these better. Thought Distortion, or blow control decks absolutely out of the water, can't be countered, get rid of all their non-creature, non-land cards, all their counter spells in the bin. Casualties of War is another really sweet one. 2 black, green, green, and artifact, creature, enchantment, land, planeswalker, just blow up a bunch of your opponent's permanents. It's awesome. And then there's also a Torment of Hailfire here. Just tutor it up and just kill your opponent with it. 3 life, unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. And obviously X times, we're going to cast this for a large number, and they'll be good. Let's hop into some ranked games. Okay, here we are here. Match number 1. Get to be on the play, which will help a little bit. They're going to be like Umori. What's going on? This is a no-land hand, so let's get rid of that. This is a 1-land hand. We've got to dig up. Let's see some early stuff. And a Field Trip coming down if you go a second. So you probably keep this on 6. That seems fine. The Withering Command can find the land. I think we can put an exhibition on the bottom. That's. I guess we're gonna shuffle it away anyway, so it won't be stuck on the bottom at least. Well, you know, potentially. I'll find this one. Make sure we've got all the forests for our field trips, and we're more likely to lead double black and double green early on at least. Okay, swamp. What do we got on the opposing side? Thoughtseas. They're going to see some things here. They might decide that none of these cards are interesting and just take the Thoughtseas away, depending on what they're up to. That's certainly quite likely if they're on something like Bang, but swamp start could be black red, could be a few different things. I'm just gonna run the Withermoon command here. We're gonna just drain, target us. Okay. Well, we don't hit our land. I think it's worth doing. Once we hit our field trip, we can start kind of going off and doing our thing. We milled over Soul Transfer, Brutality, and Variations, which is probably going to give some information away. Packing in here definitely smells on my black though. Field trip here. So maybe they have like an edict. We'll find a forest, and then we're gonna learn. We do actual learning here. Just grab the sciences. You just want to hit. We want to make sure we hit our land drops. That's gonna put us ahead on mana. For the minute we have 3s, 2s, 5, or 1. So you don't want to get like madly interrupted if we get if we like go 2 of a season's past and can't cast it straight. We also maybe grab something else. We don't really know how many creatures they're playing. Going and getting like Thought Distortion just to shred that hand might be pretty great. Okay, Thoughtseize here is probably going to take the acquisition. Yeah, okay. One acquisition in the bin. We can also go get Umori and start taxing their mana a bit. So we should definitely Brutality now to see all that's going on over there. Okay, okay. Come on, please. It was a pet. Yeah. Alright, cool. We'll grab Umori. They're on 3 mana. The most punishing thing you can play that we can take with this is like a shield red. Add this now. Brutality later. Also, if they make a Giro Trespasser, it might legitimately be better to use this to like. Oh, interesting. It's like hard blind illusion. Underworld Dream is going to start doing some damage. You need to keep ahead of that. I'm going to name Sorcery here. So I think I'm going to... I will Thoughtseize. I was wanting to create Brutality, but... Okay, Extinction Event, and then... Oh, gosh. I think we can leave this to take later. I'll take Extinction Event because it's an answer. And they are in a bit of trouble. They've got to be on some Green Merchant plan as well, presumably. They're playing, like... This is a combo with Underworld Dreams. This lets them deal damage to us when we draw cards. This makes us draw cards and lose half our life. But I have to assume Gary, given, like, Omen the Dead. That kind of thing. So, I'm going to field trip here. Now, because they've not got an answer for the Umori, we get to cash in on the discount. And everything starts clicking a little bit more popping. So, mana. And then let's also grab Payment Breach. That's some security. I still just want to take this. Oh, they've also got Nixthos, so maybe they're not playing Gary, maybe they're doing Nixthos. Also makes sense. Not escalate. I'm gonna hang on to the first for now. Still not 100% sure. Hey, this is cool because this deck is also super sweet. To the responses, and then we can contain and breach this afterwards. As similarly, they have got creatures. Could breach this next. Cool. Did a reasonable spot. We've got 2 forests left on our deck, which is notable to like the field of ruins. You can take some black sources away, but that's okay. We also know that we can attack with Umori when we get a chance. They should set this up to scry too. They did leave one on top, which is a bit dangerous. I don't like the sound of that. Okay, left on all dreams on top, that's fine. I don't think that gets them out of this, but obviously puts them in position to... Okay. Acquisition. Actually want him. They're on 10 going to 6. Go outside the game. And I'm going to grab this Torment of Hayfire. I'm going to cast it next turn. Fine anyway. They don't know what we got. Yeah, they have 1/1 permanent sacrifice. Currently. They fire off a field of runes. Kind of thin out. Yeah. Actually, it's annoying because we only have one swamp. I think it's fine. But... if they like just like field of ruin, Death Cat Blade here, I'll be super sad. So they're also just slowly going to Umori. I wonder how this goes after sideboarding. I honestly do not know. Okay, it gets cheaper. I'll show. They can work out whether they think we tutor for that or in the main deck. Yeah. I kind of like Torment of Hellfire as like a fireball you can tutor for. There are, I think it's Damnable Pact to the Black X1 from Dragon's Attack here. Just target player loses X life and draws X cards, which is a little bit more ability, but is worse at actually just fireballing them out. Freeze more than 2 in the multiplicity. Well, 3's more than 1, I should say. Sending 1 life per value back. They're gonna... the best of 3 match, just pick your cards up, please. Misery. Okay. Yeah. Oh, one of the other things, I built this for paper to play in like a local paper pioneer event. And if you're not familiar, there's a card called Waste Not. It's an 8 mana sorcery from Journey to Nyx. As you control target player during that player's next turn, and you exile it. The thing here is that with Mastermind's acquisition, you can get cards back from exile, and you kind of like Mind Slaver lock them out of the game that way. But unfortunately, that's not an arena yet. But hey, the one over the sideboard, and then you go grab it, and then you go, yeah, put them in the lock. It's not a big deal. It's more of a pipe. That one is a bit more of a pipe dream, but it's sweet enough that I want to try it out. Imagine just like timing out when you're playing a best of 3 match and have 2 more games to play, essentially. Just the level of BM is unreal. Alright, anyway. Right. That was fun for everybody. So, game number 2. you want to bring anything in? We can Lost Legacy. I think we'd rather have Lost Legacy in the main deck. Lost Legacy, the Underworld Dreams. Kind of happy cutting the first. The commands, there are actually some hits here. So I wouldn't. Okay, I maybe want to go down to 1. We leave in the soul transfers. Go blank's going to be great. Extinction event. Your hands just come out. Extinction event maybe we should keep in as a 1-of. In case they have some weird shenanigans they can board into. So we're going to bring in the Duress. 2 copies of Go Blank. We may as well bring in the Thought Distortion. We might draw it instead of having to go get it from the sideboard. And the Casualties of War we also kind of want. We are clunking things up here. I think that is fine given everything. I could see him breach doing overtime. We just want to hit our land drops and then take some cards away and get them. Alright. Let's see. The danger here is they're able to like get us either in a position where we just dead to Underworld Dreams, so you want to avoid that, or they can kind of take away our engine pieces and somehow get them away. But with Maximized Acquisition, we at least have the ability to get everything back. They managed to like Thoughtseize away our Seasons Past and exile them, whatever. And obviously we didn't have the Seasons Past with that game. Sage, you're going to do some decent work here too. Obviously, the mono black though, so there's going to be a ton of basics to find. But this looks pretty solid, especially on the draw. We will see how it plays. So fire off Brutality on 2. Try and take any disruption cards I have away that I haven't played yet. Got plenty of land drops. We can go grab Umori on 3. We have the Thought Distortion. They kind of have to take, or at least a pretty pressure to, if we get Thoughtseize. So they might have actually disconnected and gone AFK too. They've actually sideboarded. So maybe just having a hard decision here on Mulligan. And maybe giving them the benefit of the doubt here when I shouldn't be. Okay, cool. We'll keep this. They've also kept 7. So, yeah. We go. We actually got to stick in Mori without any real issues there. Maybe means that they're on interaction. Just like all in on this combo that they're trying to do. Or I'm going to leave it over into team. And we'll play the Bloom and Marsh. Or they just didn't draw any. Either way, we didn't get Thoughtseize here on turn 1, so that feels pretty good. This is the danger zone on 2 and 3 where we're like, okay, are we actually playing that many creatures? Did we just not see any last game? You sideboard some in. Still all in here. That is not what I was hoping for. I'm going to be honest with you. At least isn't killing us very quickly. Read this one. They have a Solemn. We have an answer to this one. I guess we take the card we can take. They have double Takanuma, which is pretty awkward for their lands. Plus a Nykthos. They can get this. Oh, Nykthos with Solemn. Sorry. Takanuma with Solemn is sweet. I have a lot of respect for that. Pretty cool. We sort of need to find an answer for Aetherborn. So that answer could just be get a Mori, play a Mori, block. Eh. We'll see. The Thought Distortion also not that good against this particular hand, but pretty early days they're going to draw some cards before we cast this. We do. Rooney in the tank. Or rolling. It does okay. Extinction Event is actually really, really solid. I'm just gonna grab Umori here. They're gonna get ahead on mana when they play Solemn, but we'll be able to exile both of these without any issues. Which also stops them being tackled a bit back. Or them drawing off the Solemn. Which is great. Maybe should have. I don't know that much then, but I maybe should have Vitality instead of pressing. The duress being able to take like Planeswalkers is the why, and the Vitality maybe being able to kill a creature later. But mana efficiency, like, we might be able to turn 5 go collect to plus Brutality anyway. They're just using the maximum amount of time allowed on the clock, so I'm sorry, and I don't know why people are like this. I like to pick. Alright. That's a 6 mana, so now we're at the point where like, oh, I'll use half your life, deal damage. Well, it does at least draw cards, but ideal. Solemn. Okay. What order do they use resolve in? It doesn't matter. The Solemn trigger will resolve by the time me. Yeah. Sorcery. Might do multiple modes here. I want to address them. Not that bothered about like killing the Solemn right now. I'm gonna do this. I just don't want to target. How long is this game gonna go? I'll just do one mode. I kind of want to start Game of Life. Okay, that's another Solemn. Fair enough. A bit of a weird spot. I absolutely block here, but that's fine. Need to be a little protective of our life total, given what we've seen in Game 1. But also, Sorcery has seen one. Well, they've drawn mostly creatures. 5. Okay, that's one to be aware of. Again, we've got a Field of Ruin to deal with now. But other than that, we're playing Sorcery.deck and Besagi. So, okay. Alright. Yeah, if this game lasts 30 minutes, it might be a one game video. Is there a report function? Seriously. Gonna say here. And wait. We can talk about Lord of the Rings maybe. So currently my plan is not to really do much. Not to open like boosters past what I open on the Battle Pass or through like ICRs and stuff, and not to do any more at least limited content. Maybe if something really sweet comes up in Historic, I'm like, oh, that's then I might do something. I've seen some Bowmaster like Dead Guy list I was gonna get, but my main focus is Pioneer Explorer. So building up some resources. I'm still convinced we're going to get some of the supplementary set in July or August. I think I make this attack and then Thought Distortion if they double block. We'll see. The one thing is obviously you can get one of these back with the attack that I'm kind of turning on here, but we just want to draw into one of our payoff cards, either one of our lessons or one of our tutors. And then we'll be able to get off to the races. Play Blooming Marsh this turn, I think. The Sages have a lot of value here, so you should hold on to them as long as possible. It's all good, it's all good. Eventually they might accidentally time out. This is very sad. It's literally every turn cycle. It's like pretty impossible to just cut it out of it, like just to cut it down. All right, cool. For the chat. Very direct and meaningful. Abuse the game's timing system. What else? What else? There's some pretty sweet stuff. You could also play a non-Umori version of this deck. I thought about that a little bit. But Umori seems super, super sweet, and being able to just be able to always have access to it and get it back and have it not really be gone as the only creature is actually, I think, really, really. And they're also like great sorceries to play. Like Thoughtseize. Bloodchief's Thirst as a 1-mana removal spell is excellent. And yeah, you got tons of bigger spell tools. Brutality does a lot of work, kind of holding things together. This is just insane. If I want to mistake one of these, I want to go on end step. But if I get rid of just one, fine. What a miserable way to send you Saturday morning. Oh dear. Okay. Vibe out with some music. I was super, super excited, and this video is going to be super, super sweet, and it is. But this is absolutely just ruining. The vibes are dead. The vibes are just shot. I don't. Yeah, my turn. Thanks. All right. Oh, the cool thing here is because we've got that flashback spell, we can actually hit some stuff with a Bloom Command. I don't know if I want to erase on it though. Me, you. And that's the nice thing about with the Bloom Command in this version of the deck is that with the flashback spell to get things back over a dig, but that's I think fine. I'm just gonna say okay. Eventually they'll just miss the timing and lose to this. Oh wait, there's an actual game. Oh, no, we're fine. Yeah. Yeah, I think limited content off the table. I'm being less special. Oh. I've got a bunch of pretty exciting Explorer decks and, well, or Pioneer ports to try out, play with. I've got a new Citadel list, haven't done a video on that in a little while. I have a few different. I posted one new version of Phoenix with Demi-Lich, but there's also a Dimir, like blue-black Phoenix deck with no red cards. That looks pretty hot as well. And then there's some other pretty cool stuff too. So, stay tuned. Subscribe, notifications, all that stuff. Cool. Why? Why would you do this? Why? Help, please. We'll be here for 12 minutes longer. They managed to spend so much time making so little game actions. It's almost impressive. Okay. Okay, the next, the like third Besage isn't necessarily what I want. That is okay. I could just fire a bunch of these off at end step and then Thought Distortion them, but we don't. We kind of need to draw one of our pieces. Lasai. I don't want to report a bug, I want to report a player. Okay. So, despite how they're choosing to play the game, this deck is really, really sweet. You have Underworld Dreams, some Light Devotion stuff, and then you have this kill condition with the target player like draws his 7 cards, loses 7 life. Or loses half their life total even. And if you've got a couple of Underworld Dreams in play, that's enough for lethal. That resolves, and then the Underworld Dreams triggers resolve. Sure thing. It's a slow deck, a bit like ours is, but pretty cool. I do love Takanuma with Solemn. That's something I might pinch as an idea. In general. I know we have a pile of Besages. Now we don't have the Thought Distortion though. If we want to like go like Solemn Summon Thought Distortion-y. Like Besage Solemn, Besage Solemn. But we'd also be using a bunch of Besage. I might Besage the Hive, but I think we're fine for now. Besaging the Solemns while they have attacking him is 9 minutes 50. More of this, essentially. If you're thinking, why don't you just record another match? I'd set aside some time this morning, because I'm recording this the day I'm posting it, which is unusual. I woke up nice and early to get this sorted, and then processed and rendered and everything. So here we are. Okay, so the go blank actually. Do a thing. Kind of interesting. They get to draw a card here. They also get the final land, which is fitting. But then we get to go blank and basically take away the Takanuma / Solemn, because they can get the Solemn back, but they can't play it. They'll just go and get exiled. And then also the card that they draw, assuming it's not an instant they can play straight away. If it's a kill for Umori, fair enough. We can live with that a bit. And the reason, like, oh, this is a lot of work. We're getting through the Solemns, taking away the value, but also getting value out of Go Blank when they've got a couple of cards left. It's not trivial. They opt not to draw. Crazy. I'm gonna use another one. If they're not drawing, then we get to get both. I just don't understand it. I don't understand. It takes effort to do this. I understand walking away from the PC. That's just insanity. Yeah. Oh, we dealt with the Psalms now. What do we have to get back? We have zeros with the Besages, which is kind of the whole point of why we kind of loaded up on them. Go blank, Thought Distortion with the Bloom command. Dig Up is a nice one. This is another thing that I didn't mention actually, the deck tech, is that because Dig Up is 1 mana, you can bring it back as a 1 with Seasons Past and bring back 2 tutors, which is important. Event. Why are we still doing this? This is cruel and unusual. Gonna Field of Ruin for fun. But yeah. So I've got a version of this sleeved up for Pioneer, playing like a F&M type thing this Monday. So thought it'd be a fun one to play. Played Blue White Flash a couple of weeks ago. Have Arcbeam Alterations sleeved up, ready to go. Okay, Acquisition's away to actually on the attack here. In this situation, we can attack and then Acquisition and Hellfire with all in the same turn. Actually play the Besage. This is wild. Yeah. I guess I should be just thankful that this doesn't happen more often. Outside the game. Five. Let me out. Right. This has been a video. We've not really got to do any Seasons Past stuff. I hope you enjoyed. You kind of get the idea. I'm so frustrated right now, but thank you for watching if you managed to make it somehow through this to the end. Please do like and subscribe, turn notifications on, tell your friends as well about Explorer. get them playing the best format on Arena. And yeah, have a great day. Peace out.